Should be here.
What? Yeah, should be.
So I got Will Walker on cello.
Trouble.
It's pretty cool. I got Ben Dillenger on bass. Liz Jacobsen on violin.
Violin too?
Yeah, violin too. And Sarah, do you see your last name? Is it Bleak or Black?
Black.
Black. I wasn't sure.
Short and easy version.
So Sarah Black on violin.
Okay, so we're going to start off by having you guys read the piece down, and then we're going to ask Zoe for feedback, you guys for feedback, and then we'll end by playing it one more time.
Okay.
I'm sorry in advance if my bass rattles. It does that sometimes.
Okay.
So hopefully it's not the same. Gotta get it fixed.
Not sure what to do with that information, but
Yeah.
Just say
Just don't be
extended
scared if it happens. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's in the music.
Zoe on stuff that she could be renotating or stuff that's awkward for the instrument? Anything that didn't come up in rehearsal that you've now thought of?
The only thing I think of is especially with string, when you're writing for string players, the more specific you are about articulation and bowing, the easier it'll be. Because sometimes we'll naturally, unless it's specifically notated, we'll naturally want to hook certain notes just the way the phrase goes. But I mean, that just all comes with familiarity with the instruments.
Can you give us an example of that?
Well, the one we put in, oh, well, when it comes to articulation, and I talked with her about this in measure 70, with repeated notes. When you slur repeated notes, you can either,
Yeah, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
well, it can be if you purposely want da da like
Right.
that, but then you have to mark either that or
Yeah.
staccato.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it to be the way that it was written.
And then the way the bowing works, like in 82, because we ended up in rehearsal, we ended up slurring the first three quarter notes, and then on the last beat, the two eighth notes. Because the quarter note slur ends up on a down bow, our natural instinct is to go up, up, and just be aware of if you want that up, up sound. So we can start with the down bow on the next
Yeah.
measure, or if you purposely want up, down, but it's all just familiarity
Yeah.
with it.
And that's why I think it can be good to really record these things, because you might not be catching this when you're engaged right on the spot in the rehearsal, but if you can stand back from it and then really study and say, oh, and then go back and say, were you playing it up though? I think that can be really informative to start to train your ear what to listen for. Great. Are there things that you want them to be paying attention to a little bit more this next time around?
Yeah. At measure 17, the tempo is a little slow. The 135. So.
Can you give an example of what the tempo should be?
Yeah. I think we were doing like, it was like, I don't know, slower than, but.
There's probably been a better tempo for at 98, where we started it, because it's like the same idea, but it's slower, so maybe, yeah. No, I mean,
Oh,
is that more of the tempo that you would want towards the end of it then, or would it?
what do you mean?
Because you said that the beginning was too slow, and I'm kind of doing a very similar thing at 17 as I am at 89.
Oh, yeah.
The tempo that we did at 17 be a better tempo for, or did I say 80, 98?
98.
Yeah, 98 could be a little bit slower, too.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, because that's, and another one is, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but the transition going into, yeah, sorry, a lot of other stuff sounded really good though.
I think it might be interesting too to try to give some words like lively or
Yeah, I think so too, because it expresses more.
yeah,
What
and
it is.
especially because this traverses a lot of different landscapes. And I think if you were to say at the beginning, you say with feeling, actually that's not too descriptive. I think if you were to say like folk-like or longing or some other words, then Sarah will have a better idea of how to shape that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't underestimate the power of words
Okay.
and helping people picture what you want. What else would you like them to pay a little more attention to?
Just some of the dynamics. They're pretty good, but some of them, like the measure 89, the seguito piano, there could have been, came back a lot more, and then could have had a greater peak. And same with an 81, you'd want to hear that a little bit more. I did hear it though, but even more, I think it could be brought down. That's,
The other thing I want to mention is, Sarah, with this opening, can you let it breathe a little bit more? So, like, whenever there's a rest, like in measure 4 or 8, really take that rest. And let's see how that feels. Because this is the only non-metered section of the piece. And to me, I'd be interested to experiment with what happens if you let it really feel like it's coming out over the mountains, this lone folklore person or folk player, and then have everybody join in all the excitement when you turn the page or into measure 17. Great.
Could have been the coffee I had this morning.
Yes.
yeah.
coming in. Thank you for us today.
It's very fun to play. That's a good thing.
It sounds like you guys are having fun,
Yeah.
and that's always a good sign. If you
Yeah.
it depends on what type of composer and piece you're writing, you know, so we all know that there's like the composers like at Stanford that really want to write hard music that really challenges you every second that you're on stage, and that's fine if that's your aesthetic and that's your thing. But you guys sound like you're having fun and you wrote a fun piece, so that
Yeah.
matches. Thank you.
Yay, thank you.
Okay, so we need to set up the stage.